What's up guys, it's Nick from That Student Life Australia, and today we're going to be talking all about how to stay motivated during your exam period, and namely how can you push yourself further than what you've gone before during exams. Let's go. So other than just studying and keeping on top of memorizing notes and all that good stuff during exams, another really important factor is to actually be motivated and be wanting to study, because if you don't actually want to sit down and study and put in the work, it's going to be very difficult for you. Number one rule for me, and this video is going to be split into 3 different rules. Number one for me was to know what my why was, and this is a concept that I heard first through Eric Thomas, who is a motivational speaker, and he's very big on knowing what your why, what your purpose in doing something is. So my why was on my wall, it was on the door that's over there, and every morning when I got up at like 3:30 to study for whatever it was, and when I was up at like 11, 12 o'clock at night studying, it was like I would look over and I would see my why, my purpose written down on a piece of paper. So for me at that point in time, I wanted a high ATAR, but also had like what my career goal was on there, and wanting to change the world. So by having that written, on your wall somewhere, it's easy to keep motivated. So rule number one, have your why, written down somewhere so you can see it. So when you feel a little bit disheartened with your study, you can look at it and continue to stay motivated. And rule number 2 to stay motivated during study is something that I also heard of a video from Big Think, I think the YouTube channel is called, and it was about something called the 40% rule. Actually, I got the video up here, zoom into that. That guy there is the author of a book. His name is Jesse Itzler, I think that's how you pronounce his surname, and he lived with a Navy SEAL for a few months, and this guy taught him that there is a thing that exists called the 40% rule for US Navy SEALs, and that is that when you are completely ready to throw in the towel and you're completely exhausted, that's only 40% of what you can possibly achieve. So there's still 60% left in the tank for you. And that video, which is called Navy SEALs Have a 40% Rule, if you want to look it up, basically is details a story in which this Navy SEAL guy ran like a 100-kilometer race just like with a packet of crackers and a water bottle. It's completely insane. But you need to apply that concept to your study and to push yourself that little bit further. So that's the reason that I could get up at 3:30 in the morning. That's the reason I could stay up till like 12 o'clock at night and not completely pass out, because I knew as soon as I felt tired, as soon as I felt exhausted, as soon as I felt like I couldn't do this anymore, I knew that was only 40% of what I could possibly achieve, and I pushed myself further. Right, and number 3 for pushing yourself even further than you've gone before with your study and how to stay motivated during the study period or an exam period, is to not care what other people think and what other people are doing. So it's very easy to ask, oh, what are you doing for study? How much study did you do last night? And it's very easy to be overwhelmed by someone who said, man, I was up from like 5 o'clock this morning and I studied all day until 11 o'clock at night. Like, you just can't do that, and it's just a bit mentally draining. You start to think, well, maybe I'm not studying that much. Maybe I need to push myself further. And all of a sudden you're thinking about other people and you're not actually focusing on the task at hand, which is to learn what you have to learn and to execute it in the exam. So just ignore what other people think, stick to your plan, stick to your personal goals, and you really can't go wrong. But those are the 3 biggest rules for keeping motivated during this exam period, namely the trial exams for most of you watching, or possibly the HSC, and that is to obey the 40% rule. To not care what other people think about you, and is to know your why. What is your purpose in doing all of this? Because without a meaning and a purpose, all of this just kind of falls apart, and it doesn't seem worth it. So 40% rule, what's your why? Don't care what other people think. Go get them. Best of luck guys, catch you in the next video.